What's up? We're going to have a wonderful conversation today. Yes, we are. My voice is coming back, so that's a great thing. So just bear with me as I try to get through this. I don't want to strain too much, but I am happy to be here, family. Family, I am so happy. Before we get started, I'm going to need y'all to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to need you to engage and interact in this video, right? So we can get the algorithms going or going again, because I've been off for a while, so I need your help with the algorithms. Secondly, I'm going to need you to like the video or give a thumbs down on YouTube if you don't like it, whatever, who cares? But like the video. The third thing I'm going to need you to do is share the video. Share the video because we are in critical times. We're talking about Mike Bloomberg and his so-called economic plan for Black Americans. So I'm going to need y'all to share the video because maybe somebody out there in your feed just don't know what they should know, and they might get bamboozled like we have been bamboozled for the last 100 years. So, I just say, well, we've been bamboozled way longer than that. But you get my point. You get my point. A lot of us are out there getting bamboozled left and right. We keep on believing the lies that are being told to us. We don't have the time, or we don't take the time, is what I should say, to do the research so we can inform ourselves. So that's why I am here. Nabule, Nabule. Somebody said, stop, I say Nabule. That's why I am here tonight, because I want to educate the community. Yes, I do. And the last thing I'm going to need y'all to do is get a pen and paper, because I do not want you all to take my word for anything. I want you guys to take notes and then go research everything I said. And after you do your research, if you feel that I reported something to you incorrectly, then you can tell me. But other than that, if you ain't got no research to back up your opinion is just that, an opinion. And I appreciate all the opinions that I get, but just don't expect me to respond to something that doesn't have data and research attached to it. I'm saying. Lastly, before we go on, greetings to all my sisters and brothers. Lastly, before we go on, I want you guys to know that the Black Agenda Tour is back on. And our first location, if I'm not mistaken, I know is in May. So May is around the corner. Our first location, I believe, is in New Orleans, but I will get that information to you guys. It will be on a website before you know it. You can go to the blackagendatour.com and get that, or you can go to Michi X's page and get that information. But we coming back and we have it. It's going to be greater and better than before. I'm talking about workshops, classes. You're getting workbooks, you're getting materials from us to take with you. You're leaving away with some dope stuff, just put it that way. So make sure those in New Orleans are going to be there. Those who love to travel, just come on out and join us at the Black Agenda Tour 2020. First city, I believe, is in May, New Orleans. Let's go, let's go. Peace, Shantae, how you doing? Now that we're going to get going, family, let me just bring y'all up to speed. Because I know some people may not know what's going down. So we have to always be informed, family, ahead of time of what is going down. Because what I am finding with some of my sisters and brothers, right? What I am finding is that we are some reactionary people. So even though this information becomes available like ASAP, we ignore it because we hear politics attached to it. We hear economics attached to it. We hear political science attached to it. And some of us, we get a little bit of insecurity when it comes to those issues. So we don't necessarily explore it how we should explore it. But we are programmed consciously and subconsciously programmed to automatically vote for one particular party. The same party that has not been giving us anything that they have been promising. The same party who, once they get our votes, they disappear. The same party that comes to our churches and use our church leaders to convince us and brainwash us for our votes, and we give it to them without asking anything in return. The same party who looks like they are the most diverse party on earth, but there's so much segregation that goes on within the party. The same party who lies, repeatedly, the same party who strategically makes sure that we don't have leadership positions within the political field, the same party who proclaims to be progressive and liberals, but are the most racist people in the United States of America, the same party, blah, 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 blah. I can go on. I know some people are going to get pissed off, but you know what? Tonight it's just going to be one of those nights that y'all going to have to learn how to sit in your discomfort and let this Bronx doctor do her thing. Take your notes, do your own research, and then get at me. So let's go, family. So Bloomberg, he has a strategy out there, y'all, to get the black votes. He has a strategy. And you have to understand why this is going to be a major problem if we do not employ our critical thinking skills. This is going to be a major problem if the only thing we continue to look at is the fact that we want our current president out of the office. Now, when I say we, I'm just speaking of the collective. I know that some of us don't care. Let me raise my hand. I know people are going to be mad now. Oh, you should care, Dr. Shauna. Ain't nobody talking what I need. Ain't nobody talking what black families need. Ain't nobody talking what black communities need. So if you're not talking black to me, if you're not speaking black to me, like Vicky Dillard would say, talk black to me. If you ain't talking black to me, you ain't talking voting from me. It's as simple as that. Shoot. So I'm not scared. However, I do know some of my sisters and brothers are afraid because America operates on fear politics and it gets us every time. They just employed fear strategies and we move on fear. And then some of us ain't gonna vote regardless, right? Some of us just like, whatever, we don't care. I mean, I'm still poor. I was poor when they promised us stuff. I was poor when they didn't promise us stuff. So ain't nothing that Bloomberg is gonna do is gonna make me any difference. So, some of us, we have different thoughts, but it's important for us to at least have the discussion about who this man is. Now, family, I think we're doing a good job wiping them all out. See, people been sleeping on us. I'm going to get to this. I'm going to get to it. But y'all know I'm excited tonight. So this is going to be a dope session, a dope episode tonight because I'm excited. I'm excited because the world, black, white, Spanish, whatever, has been sleeping on us. You know why they've been sleeping on us? Because they're not accustomed to our style of grassroots organizing. They are so stuck back in 1956, they are stuck back in 1964, that now that in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2020, they're not ready for us. Like, we move so strategically, and there's so many of us who are moving that the old folks who want to hold on to their power, the old folks that continue to trick you guys into giving them your votes so that they can get your black votes for the presidential candidates and they can get their payoff, they can get their kickoff. They're so used to black people being uninformed. They're so used to black people being ignorant. They're so used to black people being lazy in regards to picking up a book and researching for further understanding. They're so used to it that they're banking on the same thing in 2020. But I got news for you, brothers and sisters. The internet was the worst thing that could have happened for them. Because we ain't playing. We're not playing. We're wiping these candidates out left and right because they have to know that we're not playing. And for those of us who are afraid and scared after tonight's programming, I hope you have a better understanding of how this strategy works, right? How it works, because I'm going to go over information from the Head Negro in Charge Syndrome. So that's the first thing you can write down is that book. The Head Negro in Charge Syndrome, The Dead End of Black Politics, written by Norman Kelly. My good old brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. I know some of y'all got your nasty things to say. Just keep that off this feed because that's my brother. I work with him hand in hand for a whole year, so I know what he does for the community. I know him personally, what he does for the community. And he educates, 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 educates. So I want to thank my brother for putting me on to this book. Got to give credit where credit is due. And the book is dope, okay? And I'm gonna go over this book, a portion of this book, so you can see what is happening. So some of you guys who are not on board, who are still on the line that maybe you want to get on board, maybe after tonight's session, you will be on board. Because we're not playing games with Bloomberg or anybody else. So who is Bloomberg? As we know, he has been a tyrant in the city of New York for some years. And yes, I said tyrant. I'm going to call it as I see it. He has been known for his infamous stop and frisk policies. Now, somebody might say, Dr. Shawnna, why the hell are you talking about this? You a marriage counselor. You a marriage therapist, a couples therapist. Why are you talking about this? Because anything that systematically destroys the black family unit, I am going to speak on it. And stop and frisk has been detrimental to the city of New York. They have been allowing things like racial profiling and stuff like that to exist, harming people, locking them up, getting people fingerprinted just to drop the charges and to release them. But by then, their mugshot is already in the system, their fingerprints are already there, and that is a problem. And Bloomberg has never legitimately apologized for what he did to the black and Hispanic population in New York City. So I already have told you guys more than one time. It is a strategy to arrest and get a record on black men. It is a strategy, okay? And we're going to go over that tonight. And it's a problem if we continue to ignore it. And then we complain about no black men being available to be fathers to our children, to be fathers in communities. We start all this complaining, but we ignore systematic policies and procedures that hurt us continuously. And then we wonder why we are in the conditions that we are in. Because of people like Bloomberg that we vote for, that we get them in position and we do not hold them accountable. So now this man can turn around and put in his ballot to be president. He's also known for defending the New York Police Department and the civil lawsuit pertaining to the Central Park Five. Now, we already know that these young black men, now remember I told you I'm all about the black family unit. We already know what the outcomes are, right? For holding black men who are innocent in jail with the record, tarnishing their names, messing up their mental health, breaking up their families so they can come back into our community ill-equipped to get jobs because there's no jobs for them or low-paying jobs for them, ill-equipped to get apartments because you can't go into subsidized housing, you can't go into NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority, or any other projects. You can't do anything like that. So we already know the systematic deconstruction. But Bloomberg supported the police department in this lawsuit of the Central Park Five. So I'm just giving y'all a little bit of things. He did much more, but I'm just giving you things that we ought to pay attention to. Because this same man that is vying for the black votes, the same man who is asking you brown and black people, whatever the hell that means. You know, I say so-called because I don't know what the hell that means. I'm not black nor brown. I don't know what the hell that means. But I'm using that language so that we can have common language for the purpose of this video. But this is the same man who is going into y'all churches, y'all communities, to your so-called black politicians to get them to help him get your votes. But he harmed black people. He broke up black families, people. He is hurting the black family unit. He is hurting the black community. He has hurt the black family unit. He has hurt the black community. And now he's running for a position so he can hurt us at large. But for so many of us, we would be the ones on this feed saying, oh, Dr. Shauna, why don't we give him a shot? You never know. People do change. We say dumb stuff like that all the time. And these are the same people. Now, I know some of y'all gonna get mad, but that's okay. That's okay. We can get mad. But we have to learn how to sit in our discomfort and critically analyze what is being said and say, where is there some truth to that? It doesn't have to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but look for some truth in it. Some of us who proclaim to be religious, whatever your religion is, we already know the big religious addicts that be like, the devil come, the devil's a liar. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. The devil is a deceiver. We got to watch the devil. We got to be careful of the devil. Oh, we welcome Bloomberg into our religious house to talk to us now. Y'all listen. The man got some good stuff to say that's going to help us as a community. Y'all go on and listen. But yet we say to be strategic about the devil. And we welcome the devil into our homes and then tell our feeble-minded, no disrespect. If it don't apply, let it fly. But we tell our feeble-minded church community, our mosque community, it don't happen in mosque, but I'm trying to just be fair. Y'all know that stuff don't happen in mosque. Assalamu alaikum to my sisters and brothers. It don't happen in mosque. But we tell our religious communities to listen to this devil. Why do I say that? Why do y'all say that? So I posted a picture of Bloomberg shaking the hands of a man that some of you guys don't recognize who he is. Do your own research. I can go to my YouTube community wall, and look at the picture I posted there. I'll go to my Facebook page, Dr. Shauna, and look at the picture I posted there. But he's shaking the hands of a pastor, a black pastor, right, with his 3 stripes on his robe, a black pastor shaking his hands. But we preach to watch the devil. See, this is how we get caught up in nonsense. We always allow the devil to come into our home and trick us. Right? So you got to ask critically why. Why do we do stuff like that? I'll tell you why we do it. Because he comes in with his trick bag and we fall for it. So what is he saying? What is Bloomberg's strategy? Y'all got to write this down. What is his strategy? Bloomberg is going toward black politicians, right? Like John Rogers. I think his name is John Rogers Jr. I think maybe he didn't necessarily go toward Al Sharpton, but Al Sharpton always, because he's a black freelancer, he always likes to be in the midst of something with his 2 cents, convincing people that like him, convincing them to vote for people, you know what I'm saying? But listen, he's going toward black politicians with a strategy. He's also he's skipping over cities that the majority of the population is not black. Not that he's not going to go back to them, but for right now, he's skipping over them. And he's going directly to cities with large black populations, okay? He's also going into black communities, seeking input from the black communities on policies, maternal mortality, incarcerated youth, underline youth if you're writing this down, incarcerated youth, I want you to underline that, and he's going to black churches. Why is this a problem? First of all, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. The picture is there, Felicia, go to the community wall. Go to the community wall, the picture's there. What he is doing is saying, we got to win against Trump. That is the strategy. And the reason why we're slipping and we're losing is because we're not gaining the trust of the black voters. So we have to build that. And they have to see a candidate that they feel is viable in beating Trump. So black people are so scared of Trump. Not all of us. not all of us, but a lot of us, too many of us, are so scared for Trump for whatever reason. Whatever, I don't know. They're like, he's dangerous, he's evil. Well, so is Bloomberg. So is Bloomberg. But then when he knows that black people have this mentality that black people will say, well, Bloomberg's the lesser of two evils. I don't understand why we say dumb stuff like that. It's like we're telling the community, well, you know, we're going to get screwed anyway, so we might as well go to the lesser. That is stupid. No one is going to listen to you if you keep doing stupid things like that and having stupid thoughts like that, because there's nothing logical in that thought process. There's nothing critical in there. And in fact, it's dangerous. And Bloomberg and the Democratic Party knows this. They know it and they play on it. So they're going to go to large cities that has the black population. Why? Why? We're going to analyze everything. We're going to be out of here soon. We're going to analyze everything. They're going to go to large cities because they already know the systematic harm that has been done to black communities. So they have removed, through strategy, through political policies, through procedures from law enforcement, you name it, through strategies, they have done a great job at removing black men, which is leaving, either removing them or harming them so much so that they have turned off a lot of black men from voting. So who is the population that is left to target? And is the easiest population to target, and it's black women. Right? We're some emotional people. We're so emotional people. So they're going into large cities that contains black people, and they're talking to specific people in order to get information from them on policies, maternal mortality. That's why I know it's black women. See, they're not going to put it in there because so many of us that are speaking out and educating the community have already warned our black sisters to stop falling for the okie doke. So they're not going to say black women, but instead they're going to say maternal mortality. Why? Because that's going to play on the hearts of black women. And they're going to want to show up to listen to what he has to say. And he's going to know all the buzzwords. He's going to know all the trigger words to say to play on your emotions. He's not going to give you a goddamn thing in return. He wants to know what you have to say about it, because he's not going to sit down long enough to do his research. He wants to come to the community to hear it from you so he can know how to use your words for his strategy when he gets on the stage to talk to you for your votes. And we're giving him the playbook. We're giving him the blueprint of winning our votes. But here's what's going to happen. We're going to have so many of us in our community that says, no, I think it's a good idea that he's come. About time he's coming. No one comes to talk to us. That's not true. See, during every election year, they come to talk to you. And that's the only time they come to talk to you, because they want your votes. They're not going to come to talk to you for any other reason but to get your votes. So when we make statements, illogical, non-critical statements like, well, it's good that he's coming to talk to us directly, I don't see no other candidate doing that, we're not thinking. Because after they come to speak to us, business goes on as usual. So Howard Harris is asking me to explain maternal mortality. That is the rate of death of babies, black babies. And in the black community, we have the highest mortality rates for our babies. Either they're not making it out of the womb, or they're being born and they are dying. And what has been happening recently, Howard, there also has been an increase of mothers dying giving birth to their children in our communities. No one else. Nowhere else. But our communities are the ones that are hit hard. So he's going to come strategically to speak to us, because you know, as a woman, sisters and brothers, when it comes to our babies, we're very sensitive about that topic. When it comes to our daughters, our aunties, our sisters, our cousins dying on the table, leaving babies for us to raise, another breakdown of our family. We're very sensitive on that topic. So we're going to go into that meeting emotional. And he is going to play on our emotions. You got to think about it. This man is a capitalist. They know marketing strategies 101, and they employ marketing strategies in every single thing that they do, because for them, it is about winning. Whether they're winning your dollars or they're winning your votes, it is about winning. And when you want dollars or votes, the game is dirty. There are no rules in the game. You get them how you get them. And that is what America is, and that is how America is built, and America has always operated in that fashion. So we like the fact that he's coming out to the black community. We like the fact that he's going to talk to us and we're going to be tricked by it. But let me tell you what he's telling us that's playing on our emotions. And too many people are going to fall for this trick bag. He is saying that his alleged plan, now I'm saying alleged plan because I don't care what you say on the stage when it comes to one of your votes. I don't care. Everybody says a lot of nice things on the stage. They have always done this. They have always done this. They've always gotten out there and said a lot of great, nice things on the stage to get us saying, yep, that's right, they're talking. Oh, they said black, they're talking to us, that's good. Oh, that's good. I can't wait. I would love to buy me a house. They're talking about getting us home ownership. I would love a house. Oh, check in my mental because I want a house, because I want to be like everybody else, and I want this house. Forget about what happened in 2007, 2008 with the real estate burst, right? When we all lost our wealth overnight. Forget about that. We just want a house. We don't even know why we want a house. We're not even asking for the right type of houses. We want a single family house for our family to live in. We're not even asking for multi-level family houses for the purpose of generating income. We're not asking for that. We're just asking for home ownership for our individual families because we're not thinking. We're not thinking. So he's coming out there and he's saying this: I'm going to increase job opportunities. Playing on our emotions. And we saying, yeah, because the unemployment rate for blacks is higher than anybody else. We need jobs. We need jobs. We need jobs. That's what they all say. That's what they say all the time. And when they bring jobs into our communities, the jobs is not what we would consider gainful employment, meaning it is not able to sustain their cost of living without other services. But they just come and they say job opportunities. And we fall for it. They don't have to tell us anything specific. They don't have to say it's going to be specific for us. They don't have to say any of that. They just say they're going to come and create job opportunities and we run with it. We don't ask the right questions. How are you going to create this? Are you going to take some of our housing away for the purpose of gentrification in order to create $15 jobs? Like, how are you going to create this? And are you creating jobs specifically for black folks, or are employers going to be allowed to say that they must speak Spanish and then we don't got no jobs? I mean, I'm just saying, can we be critical in our thoughts? Can we be critical in our thoughts for just a second? Or are you going to go in there and create jobs and you put educational requirements, not considering the research of the black population? Because only but so many of us, I believe it's 13%, somebody's going to have to fact check me. I believe only 13% of us have college degrees, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So if you start creating these jobs and you put a requirement that they have to have a master's, which is going to be even less of us, or a bachelor's, right? And then if you start putting these requirements on there, then who are you leaving out of the job market? The very people that continues to get hurt by these so-called democratic politics or politicians that so-called get hurt by them. They strategically leave out a certain population of people. And it's our fault. It is our fault because we don't ask the right questions before we turn over our votes. That is why it is our fault. What else is he promising us? He's also promising us home ownership and black neighborhoods. See, you got to underline that right there. And then you have to examine that critically. He's offering us home ownership in black neighborhoods. Y'all believe that? See, I know some people who are desperate to own a house and it's their dream because they want to be like everybody else. They're going to believe that. And you got to sit back and you have to ask yourself, home ownership in black neighborhoods? Well, what comes along with that? What does that even mean? Home ownership in black neighborhoods. Underline that, people, and ask yourself, what does that mean? Why you have to put a neighborhood on it? Why can't you just be increasing home ownership for black people, period? I can get even more specific. Why can't you provide home ownership for those of us who have built this country, period? Because when you start saying black, people play all types of games with that word black. People play all types of games with that word black. Next thing you know, you're going to have the dark-skinned Indians riding down that they're black and getting the houses. And then renting it to your black behind for 3 times the cost of their mortgage. Think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? And if you give us so-called home ownership in black neighborhoods, is that really realistic? Are you really going to do that? Because I see a certain type of people that walk up and down black neighborhoods buying the houses to rent it back to us. And why is that a problem? Let me tell you why it's a problem. Because if in fact he really did do that, and this is just my thought, if in fact he really did do such a thing, you know what's going to happen? Because you got to understand the devil is strategic. I know people don't like to hear it, but let's call it what it is. The devil is strategic. Let me tell you what the devil's going to do. The devil's going to convince some of us non-critical thinkers to come into business with us, to buy property and share the ownership of the company for the purpose of going after those fundings and those loans that have possibly lower rates so that they can get the houses, multiple houses. And you would have a minority share in that ownership, but on paper, you would look like the majority for the purpose of getting that money. See, people are very strategic. You got to watch what they do. They do this all the time, and all the time we fall for it. And if we wonder why these so-called programs that are developed for so-called black people don't go to black people. We got to wonder why they don't go to black people. Because we keep falling for the trick bag over and over and over again. And the only thing they have to do is come into our homes and our churches and our neighborhoods and our communities and say sweet nothings in our ears, play on our emotions, and we go for it. He's also saying that he's going to invest $70 billion in struggling communities. $70 billion in struggling communities. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to find my information on that. Yes, here it goes. Not that I'm not mistaken. I'm not mistaken. Out of that $70 billion, he's going to create a housing fairness commission funded with an initial $10 billion. So you already know that $10 billion most likely is coming out of that $70 billion to create a government agency. We don't need any more government agencies. We don't need any more nonprofit organizations. That is not what we need. No government agencies and no nonprofit agencies. So you're really not doing something for us. You're finding a loophole to help your people further. Bloomberg, that's what you're doing. But they're coming into our spaces, playing on our emotions, and our people who are not critically aware or educated is falling for the trick bag over and over again. Yes, Howard, I believe you're right with that. Howard says from Facebook, I believe that's Facebook, Howard said hedge fund corporations or hedge fund companies. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we fall for it. And he's coming in, and here's how his pitch goes. He says, and I quote, he says that what he is aiming to do is to right the wrongs of what he thinks, to right what he thinks are historic wrongs and create an opportunity and wealth in Black communities. To right what he thinks are historic wrongs. Circle that right there. To right means to make right. We were wrong, we want to fix it. Not we. He never used we. He used the word I. To right what I think are historic wrongs and create an opportunity and wealth in Black communities. See, I can just see us right now, Peep family. I can see us clapping our hands. That's right. That's right, because they took from us. That's right. That's right. They burned down Black Wall Street. That's right. That's right. We get so excited. He's saying that he thinks. He didn't say that we think. See, he's not stupid. He's going to say what I think. He's going to keep it on the I because he understands that his constituents that really matter don't look like you and I. You see, his constituents don't want you to go, does not want him to go out there and say to the community that we are going to right the wrongs. You see, because majority of his constituents feel like they have already right the wrong and there's nothing else that they can do. See, majority of his constituents don't agree with any reparations. They don't agree with any of the Black agenda plans that we have put out there. They don't agree with it. They don't agree with what we are saying on social media. They want us to shut the hell up. And Bloomberg is strategic with his words, that he is going out there and he's just keeping it on the eye. My goal is to right the wrongs that I think have been there historically. And I'm going to create opportunity and wealth in Black communities. Well, Bloomberg, how are you going to do just that? How are you going to create opportunity and wealth in Black communities? Because Bloomberg, we know that your people burnt down Black Wall Street. And the reason why I'm bringing up Black Wall Street, family, because you have to understand when he made this comment in that area of the United States. He went there strategically on purpose. We always fall for it. We always fall for it. He could have went to Detroit, Michigan. He could have went to Flint. He could have went to certain parts of Chicago. He went to Greenwood for a reason. For a reason. Because he knows that the emotions of our Black people there are still running high. They are still traumatized. They still have emotional wounds from what has happened back in the 20s. They are still hurting. So what do? You go there and you say words like, I want to create opportunity and wealth in Black communities. No, you don't. America has never wanted to create opportunities and wealth in Black communities for us. I'm not saying that they have not created wealth and opportunities in Black communities. It's just that the wealth and the opportunities that were created in Black communities didn't go to Black people. They went to everybody else coming into Black communities, taking advantage of policies and funds that are out there for them to come into Black communities, to extract from Black communities and not have to give us anything in return. So Bloomberg, I'm going to need you to be specific. How are you really going to create wealth? Because Bloomberg, you and I both know the ramifications of creating wealth in black communities. We know the ramifications of creating wealth in black communities, what it's going to do to your true constituents. You see, people, we can't be fooled by this family. We can't be fooled by somebody who acknowledges to the Greenwood community his white privilege, but says he's been lucky in life. You haven't been lucky in life, Bloomberg. No, I've been lucky in life, Bloomberg. I've been lucky. I've been a child born and raised on welfare. I've been a child in a New York City school district who happened to make it out. I've been a child who have been lucky that strategic people have come into my life at different times to give me the idea of college because I didn't have a college graduate as a mom. I've been the child who got accepted to colleges despite the fact that I only had a 684 on my SATs. I've been lucky, Bloomberg. You haven't been lucky, Bloomberg. Your family has benefited off of our heads for a very long time, Bloomberg. But I know you want to attribute that to your success on Wall Street. How about we talk about the history of Wall Street, Bloomberg? How about we talk about the slave trade in Wall Street, Bloomberg, and how the slave trade built up Wall Street, Bloomberg? You haven't been lucky. I wouldn't call it luck. But I know why he used that word. I know why he said he's been lucky. I know why. I know why he said he's been lucky. Because when you come into our communities, for a lot of for a good portion of us, not everybody, but when you come to our communities and you are very rich, or you're a celebrity, you're popular, whatever the case is, you're doing, or you look like you're doing well, or you actually are doing well, like Bloomberg. When you come into our communities and you say you've been lucky and you have all these stories to tell, we feed into it because in our heads, because we want to be so much like our oppressor. Come on, people, don't get your feelings. Don't get in your feelings. Just sit in it for a little bit. Sit in your discomfort and consider it for just a second. When someone of that financial and economic magnitude comes into our communities that are destitute, comes into our environment, into our home to speak to us and using words like you've been lucky and you're successful, our mind subconsciously automatically goes to maybe this guy, because he's successful, will help us get successful too. We want to be like Bloomberg. Come on, people. Thank you for that donation, family. Who was that? Thank you, Herbert. Thank you for that donation. I love you. I thank you for that. I thank you for that. We subconsciously want to be like Bloomberg. So when we get somebody like a Bloomberg, or we get somebody like a Jay-Z, right? Or back in the days, back in the 60s, they used James Brown. Come on, let's talk about it, people. You got to know your history. You got to know your history. When they use somebody like James Brown too, we want to be like that person. So we trust their word. We trust that they have everything that we need to succeed. So we stop looking at each other as pillars of support. We stop looking at each other as creators. We stop looking at each other as the answer to our problems, and we look at the person in front of us who we deem successful. And the only thing he has to do is come into our communities and say stuff like that. Say stuff like, blacks were excluded. That's what he said. Blacks was excluded from opportunities such as housing, employment, and education. And that's all we're hearing. We're saying, yeah, that's right. We want our due. We want our due. We were excluded. We were excluded because we weren't so lucky because of the color of our skin. But if this man is going to help us, we're going to vote for him. and we feed into this nonsense and we go with it because we are still traumatized. And until we start to recognize that we as a community of people are traumatized and we're passing on trauma from generation to a generation, we will never see strength in ourselves. We will never see God in ourselves. And we will keep looking at these white saviors to come in to save us. And the only thing we have to do in exchange for a hope and a dream is to give them our votes. They come into our communities and they feed us hope because we have been conditioned through religion to hold on to hope and hold on to faith. Now, I'm not telling you not to have faith, but you have to have faith in the areas that make sense. We get these buzzwords like hope and faith and love. We get these buzzwords. We don't critically analyze them. We don't make sense of them. We just go with them blindly because we want so bad to accomplish what our oppressors have accomplished, not realizing how our oppressors got what they got. And this is a game of chess, baby. They're never going to give up their strategy. They're never going to help you beat them on the chessboard of life. But for some reason, we think we got a chance. We think we got a chance. So what are the specifics of his plan? Here's the specifics. Because I said you need to ask the critical question, how is he going to do that, right? How is he going to do that? How is he going to do that? So this is what he said. I'm going to create 1 million new Black homeowners. I'm going to create 1 million new Black homeowners. Playing on our words, playing on our emotions, playing on our feelings, playing on our moods. We say, ooh, 1 million new Black homeowners, this is great. But we don't ask the critical question, well, who's Black? Who's Black? And then what criteria are we using to prove that we're Black? Whatever that means. See, this is why it's so important, family, for us to have a designation. This is why it's so important for us to have a designation. See, yeah, we're all humans, but that's beside the point. We're not getting it. See, statements like that, and I mean no disrespect to her. I think the sister is the one who said it. Krista, I mean no disrespect to you, Krista, but we gotta think critically. See, it is that type of politics that gets us in trouble all the time because we don't understand what America is and how America was built and how America operates. And America has not changed since. We do things like we're all humans, and then we wonder why us humans are at the bottom still, while everybody else is prospering. And we wonder why we fall for the trick bag that we just have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. Meanwhile, we're getting incarcerated at larger numbers and larger rates. Our children are failing in the school system at larger rates and in larger numbers. Our health is declining because of the food that they have in our community, and let alone if we even have food in our community, because a lot of us live in food deserts. Our health care sucks, that we're dying, but we're all humans. See, we gotta watch stuff like that. And I mean no disrespect. I just want us to sit back and think critically. We know we're all humans. But we need specific designations when people are putting money in a pot saying it's for so-called Blacks. But we don't know what the criteria is, and we don't know who is Black and who isn't Black. So by the time the information reaches our community, the money's already gone. Because they set up nonprofit communities, nonprofit organizations that aren't ran by us, and they eat up the money. And we don't seem to get it because we're emotional. We are emotional. What else does his plan say? His plan says he's going to create 100,000 new Black-owned businesses in the next decade. 100,000 new Black-owned businesses in the next decade. But guess who he is targeting? For these 100,000 Black-owned businesses over the next 10 years. People, that's what a decade is. 10 years. He's targeting, do your research, look it up. He's targeting Black women. He says Black women businesses are growing at a substantial rate. So he wants to create more of them. You gotta understand, family, that there is an all-out attack on our Black men. But we get so excited because of our individualistic thinking, and we say, oh, this is an opportunity for me. You haven't even asked, why is it targeting Black women? Why not our Black men? Over the next 10 years. That in itself should be a problem for you. That in itself should make you scratch your head. Because we have to know the research and how often businesses fail as a whole, white business, Black business, Asian business, as a whole, and how often do Black businesses fail. See, you can't create a Black business without everything else that is needed in order to support the Black business so it can stay open. See, we fall for this all the time, but we don't make specific demands. We don't ask specific questions. We just go with these buzz statements and we think it's a great thing. We've got to stop doing this, family. Because it's another trick bag just to get your votes. That is crazy. That is crazy. You got to understand that what is happening, family, this is all about selecting the lesser of two evils. But we like that. We like to go on that narrative. Well, you know, at least it ain't Trump. I don't care if it is. At least it ain't Trump. We got to get somebody in there. We got to get somebody in there. At least it ain't Trump. But let me put this for you. Let me paint this for you, and then we're going to get into this book, and then I'm out. I'm almost done. I want to paint this for you. We always say, well, it's the lesser of the two evils, but we don't even examine that statement critically. Because you have to think about it like this. One person, one mind, right? With two consciences. The angel and the devil. But it's all coming from the same body, the same person. The same person. The consciousness is the same person. So therefore, they're capable of doing the same things to us. And we don't even understand that. We don't even understand that. We look at Democrat, Republican, and we think that they're separate. It's the same body. Just two different consciences. That's it. That's it. And guess what? Even the devil sounds good sometimes. That's why we all give into temptation. Because the devil sounds good to us. So how do you know who's the angel, who's the devil? But we fall for this all the time. We fall for it. The only thing they wanted to do is find someone who was rich and bold enough to go up to Trump. And that's the only thing Black people want to see happen. But here's what I want y'all to know. So in reading this book, and then I'm out of here, family, the head Negro in charge syndrome. The head Negro in charge syndrome. Family, I suggest you get this book. It is written by Norman Kelly, The Head Negro in Charge Syndrome. And reading Norman Kelly's book, here is what he did. He examined an article that was written by Ron Walters. Look him up. Ron Walters is a political science professor out of the University of Maryland. And a while back, he wrote an article called Blacks in the Democratic Party. I suggest you get that article. I suggest you read it so that you can be informed of what is happening. None of this stuff is new. We just keep falling for it year after year, decade after decade, century after century. We got to stop falling for it. Thank you so much for that donation, Black Psychology, Dr. Black Psychology. I appreciate that with your PhD. Go ahead, brother. Who said ain't no good black men out there? We got a brother right here. Brother right here. PhD, Dr. Black Psychology. Boom. Y'all just don't be looking for them the right way. I look for them all the time. I'll tell you, I can find a good black man like this. Drop of a dime. But nonetheless, here's the highlight of that article. Dr. Ron Walters says that the Democratic Party takes black votes for granted. We already know that. And holds blacks at an arm's length. And what he is basically saying is after he gets our vote, we can't reach them. After the Democratic Party gets our vote, we can't reach them. They speak to us at an arm's length. Make sure we don't get too close. Make sure we don't come into their personal space. Make sure we don't ask for too much. And that's what they have always done. He also says that the Democratic Party is cosmetically more racially inclusive. Cosmetically. That means on the surface. So we have to stop going for cosmetics. Let me put that into perspective for you, sisters and brothers. It is like a lady, or nowadays, I can't even say a lady, no disrespect. No disrespect. It is like a person, a human, right, Krista? A human who wears makeup. And they beat their face for the gauze. That's what they say, right? Beating their face for the gauze. Everything is on fleek. Looks good. Looks great. Cosmetically, it looks great. Until you wash that bad boy off. Then you see all the blackheads and the blemishes. The nose is not as narrow as you thought it was. It's a beautiful broad nose, right? The lips are not as thin as you thought it was. Wide lips. Right? Or maybe no lips, or maybe a crooked nose, but because makeup makes everything looks good, what we see on the surface is something that looks really nice and beautiful until the makeup comes off. And so what does the Democratic Party do? When it gets closer to those really important election time, I mean, every election time to me is important because I'm more focused on local elections than I am for the presidential election. That's just me. Because the local elections impact me a lot faster, right? But that's what it does. The Democratic Party puts on makeup. The Democratic Party beats its face for the gauze. And we turn around like, oh, that's nice. It's all racially mixed. It's not all just old white men that look like their breath stink. Everybody's in there. I want to be a part of that party until the makeup come off. And when the makeup come off, we realize just how nasty that party truly is. And that is what's happening right now, family. We are frustrated because the makeup has come off of the Democratic Party. And what we are seeing is blemishing. We're seeing bad skin. We're seeing crooked noses. We're seeing no lips. We're seeing bags under the eye. We're seeing two-tone complexions. The skin is just bad. The looks are just terrible. That's what we are seeing. And it's scary. It's downright scary. But some of us don't even care because we say with the lights off, we all look the same. That's the stupidity we have. We all look the same with the lights off. Meaning, I'd rather turn a blind eye. I'd rather not look at all the ugliness that the Democratic Party does to the black community. I'd rather not look at it. Because with the lights off, we all look good. Just as long as cosmetically we look good, or we in the dark, we all good. It's bad. That's bad. So Dr. Walters also says that Policies are crafted that don't engage blacks, but keeps them on a tight leash. And also, black politicians are more loyal. Listen to this, family. Black politicians, and I ain't going to say no names. Y'all already know who I be beating up on because it hurt us. It hurt us. But again, you know how we are. We play on our emotions. We just vote off of emotions. If you look like us, we're going to vote for you. Despite what the hell you do to us that hurt us, we're just going to vote for you. And then we're going to tell ourselves lies and tell the community that you were the best thing that ever happened to us, but we're still in the same condition. I ain't going to say no names. However, black politicians are more loyal to the party than the needs and interests of the African American population. Whatever African American means, whatever black means. But they're more loyal to the party than the needs of the people. They ignore the fact that it's the people, it is us, sisters and brothers, that put them in the chairs. But they will continuously feed us the Democratic Party knowing that our needs are not being met. And tricking us to believing that this time is going to be different. We are always believing that this time is going to be different. We are in an abusive relationship with America. We are in a domestic violence relationship with America. And this is how it looks. Just imagine being a child who is physically abused, that has a parent that constantly says, I didn't mean to do that. You know I love you, right? You know I care for you. I just want better for you. I don't like hitting you. I hate doing that. I just need you to do better. So you think you're doing better, you make a little mistake and get your behind whooped again, and you hear the same story again. And every time you're believing this, that's how trauma is formed. Or think of an abusive husband or the abusive wife, I'm an equal opportunist, abusive husband or the abusive wife that always apologizes after the act is done, after the trauma is put on the victim. And then says, I'm going to get better. It's not going to be like this anymore. And the victim constantly believes them. So that's what keeps them in this abusive relationship. That is us, people, with America. And black politicians help to keep us in this abusive relationship because the black politicians actually can change laws. They actually can petition to get policies on the floor that's going to be specifically for us to help us. But because they're so concerned about their own individual growth and their own individual pockets, that they refuse to do anything specifically for us. But instead, they operate out of a colorblind mentality. And it hurts us. But yet, because they are a black face in politics, we remain supporting them. Just because they are a black face, despite the fact that they too are hurting us. And you know why we do this, family? We do this because we follow popularity as a symbol of our blind faith and our blind trust. As long as you're popular, as long as you're charismatic, as long as you got that swag and you can sing rhythm and blues really good, and you can do the electric slide, or you got some viral videos out there singing Cardi B, and you a politician, we think that's fun. And we like you because we think you're relatable, not realizing it's showtime. That's what you got to think about when you see these black politicians. It's showtime. Because when you run up on them, like I like Jamie Fowler. I don't know him personally, but I follow Jamie Fowler on Twitter. I believe that's his name. Jamie Fowler. He's ADOS, right? And he be up in the politician faces. He be like, let me ask you a question. Can you tell me what the plan is for reparation? Let me ask you a question. Do you know what's going on at the Parchment Correctional Facility? Let me ask you a question. He be up in all politicians' faces. And they can't stand him because he's exposing the fact that they're on stage. The spotlight is following them around, and they singing and they dancing, and we going for it. We're just excited for their charisma. We're excited for their popularity. We're excited for their swag. We're excited for their jazz hands. Showtime. And we just go with it, people. We go with it. And that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. So here are the people that we naturally go for. Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton. We go for celebrities. We go for church leaders. And as long as my pastor said, anything our pastor say, we go for it. Because our pastor says that we gonna have somebody coming, he's a good man. He's a good man. He don't give you any proof that he's a good man. He don't show you any data that he's a good man. He don't give you any reports that prove that he did anything for the black community. But our pastor said he a good man. So we go with the amen. That's right. Not realize that he came into your church with jazz hands. The minute your church started, he's like, and then he get on the stage, no matter what church he in, no matter what politician it is, he get on the stage and he goes, I remember when I was a child, my mama used to take me to the church and the music always got my soul. I don't care if he's a black politician. I don't care if he's a white politician. I don't care if he's an Asian politician. They all say the same thing when it comes to the black churches. The music's got it. I love it. It's always home. This is good old service, good old worship. I love it. I love it. But I want to talk to you guys about the evils that are out there. I want to talk to you guys about Donald Trump. I want to talk to you guys about police killing your children. I want to talk to you guys. Anything that's going to play on your emotions. And we be like, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Because our pastor said. And I know pastor. Pastor ain't going to let nobody who evil come into this church. Our pastor's a man of God. I'll tell you. We some silly ass people with no disrespect. Oh, I wasn't supposed to curse. Let me put one in the square jaw. I wasn't supposed to curse. You got to understand that these people that I'm talking about has led the black voters into electoral benign neglect. That is what Norman Kelly talks about. Electoral benign neglect. Okay? They offer us no program specifically for us. They offer us no policies specifically for us. And if we bring up anything that is specifically for us, they tell us that we're wrong and we're divisive. Whereas everybody else makes sure they get to that political floor with their demands. Every other population is not about kicking anybody's back in. I got no love lost for the LGBTQ plus community. But they ask for what they want. I got no love lost for the Hispanic community, but they ask for what they want. I got no love lost for the veteran community, but they ask for what they want. But the minute we say something that we want, we're divisive. And what's so sad, family, is that even within our own community, we're divisive. We got one person asking for something for us, and another person saying, we got to love everybody. God said love everybody. God said. This is what we do. And then we start fighting each other. Meanwhile, these crooks are sitting back, and they look at how we fighting each other, and then they're selectively picking out who they're going to go to pay off to push their agenda. And we already know who they're going to. They ain't coming to me. They ain't coming to Tone and Yvette. They ain't coming to Michi. They ain't coming to Dr. Umar Johnson. They ain't coming to us. They coming to all of y'all that said, God said. That's who they coming to. Or they going to those that want to be close to white. Light, bright, daring white. They ain't coming to us. They're going to go to those who preach colorblind society. They ain't coming to us. Because they know that they can play on those emotions, and those people are greedy and thirsty. But here's what's happening, family. Here's what's happening. Historically, black folks has been locked in and guaranteed by charismatic black freelancers. Historically, black votes has been locked in and guaranteed by black freelancers. So those are the people who are charismatic. Those are the people who are popular. They have big followings, right? And only during election time is the only time you hear these people talking politics. Usually you'll find them in celebrities. Usually you'll find them in actors and actresses. Usually you'll find them in singers. You'll find them in these kind of people. And the politicians, the Democratic politicians specifically, gets to these people. And they get in their ear, and then you see them doing their videos saying, I just wanna, say that Bernie Sanders, I think, is a guy for us. He got so much to offer us, that he's the only one that care about black people. And because we like that celebrity, that black freelancer, we go for it with no critical thinking. No critical thinking. Not realizing that many of these people, even these pundits that you see on CNN and all these other shows, they just get out there. Now they got a little platform just because it's election time, and they offer their intellectual opinion. And we're watching them. We're watching them like fiends. And they're using buzzwords to play on our emotion. We're saying, yup. Because we're not thinking. We just nodding our heads, and we just going along with it. And then next thing you know, voting time comes around, and we just like robots walk into the booth, look Democrat, and just vote Democrat all the way down, and then walk out the booth, not realizing we just signed our death certificate. Death to our economics, death to our education, death to our jobs, death to our housing, death to our health. We just signed it away. Death to our wealth, death to our income. We just signed it away. So somebody's going to say, what is the solution? What is the solution? I'm out of here, people. I know I went over. What is the solution? Before I give you the solution, we have to stop being tolerant of irresponsible behaviors that we find in our pastors, our church leaders. We have to stop being tolerant of irresponsible behaviors that we find in our celebrities. We have to stop being tolerant of irresponsible behaviors that we find in our politicians, our black politicians and the white politicians. We have to stop being tolerant in our irresponsible behaviors that we find in our family members. We have to stop it. That's the first thing. That's the first thing on the solution list. And once we can get past that, then we have to just stay focused on strategies. Stay focused on strategies that are designed specifically for us, people. Specifically for us. We got to get a little selfish. We got to get a little greedy. Because it got to be for us. Because everybody else comes into this country and everybody else marked black on that application. And the minute you ask them they're black, they tell your ass, no, they ain't black. Everybody else rep their nationality. They rep their country. Everybody else do it. But when they come here, they take advantage of what has been assigned for us under the cloak of blackness. So we have to be strategic in what we're asking for. We have to be specific in what we're asking for. And it's got to be okay that some people got to get excluded. It's got to be okay. Right? But we have to do that. We have to also give up our allegiance to the Democratic Party. Why do we have an allegiance to any one party? Why do we have that? Does anybody sit back and say, why am I loyal to the Democratic Party? Does anybody sit back and say that? It's just like the people who are loyal to their pastors and their priests and their imams or their rabbis that rape children, that molest women, that have multiple affairs right in the church. They're loyal to them no matter what. Why? Why? What is it that you fear if you break your loyalty? What is it that you fear if you step out and choose something differently? What are you fearing? Criticism? Shame? What are you fearing? What are you getting for being loyal to the Democratic Party? What are you getting? And make sure you got the research to back it up. Make sure you got the research to back it up. Because we're just emotional. And I'm not here for the emotion. You can keep that on your back burner. I don't want it. Making me lose my voice. The last thing we have to do is consider strategic non-voting. Now, the fancy smancy scholar word for that is electoral instability. And the reason why I think so many of us get nervous when they hear that, oh, strategic non-voting, oh, Dr. King died so we can vote. Stop with the lies, people. Stop with the lies. Do you even understand why he died? We just say dumb shit because that's the narrative that, oh, I cursed again. That's $2 in this weird jar. Heavenly Father, you're going to have to forgive me. And to my ancestors that love me, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm trying here. I'm going to burn some sage when I get off the video so I can make up for the 2 swear words. I guess I ain't doing too bad, right? It's only 2 swear words. But we got to stop being that. But I want to give you guys this, and I'm leaving you with this, and I'm out. I want to give you guys some understanding of what electoral instability is and what it looks like. Because we see it. We just didn't have a word to put to it, right? So I'm giving you guys a word I want you to remember. Electoral instability. Electoral instability. It is the same thing as strategic non-voting. You have to understand before people start getting any emotions. I already know I got a lot of baby boomers that follow me, and I love my baby boomers. I do. But y'all know I've been checking y'all sometime because we got bad habits that have been passed down to us that we're not critically thinking about. We're just doing it because mama did it and mama's did it, and this is what we have always done. This is what we have always done. It's not going to fly anymore. We got to stop that. We got to evolve. We have to grow. We have to grow. And the reason why I say this to the boomers, because the boomers were here non-voting and they will have a heart attack. They will hit the floor. They will unfollow you. They will get in your inbox and write you a 5-page letter. They will email you. They will call your office. I'm telling y'all the truth what happens to me. And they will have a 30-minute conversation knowing I charge people. But I'll be wrong if I hang up. So I try not to hang up on my elders. But they want to have a 30-minute conversation why I'm wrong about non-voting. The word they forget is that I said strategic non-voting. See, people like to hear whatever they want to hear. It is strategic non-voting. The same as electoral instability. So let me tell you what that is, and I'm out. It says, blacks should consider strategic non-voting as a means to register their displeasure with a political party that needs them as a booster to win elections, but jettisons them and their concerns the moment the party obtains its office and its desires, right? So basically saying that we have to consider withholding our votes as a means to express our displeasure with the political party. Because we are aware that once they get our votes, they don't engage with us anymore. And they don't give us what they promised us. And we do nothing about it. But if we withhold our votes, it sends them a message that is needed. Let's go on. At the beginning of the unofficial campaign season, members of the Democratic Party all entered the race thinking that there is a stable, predictable block of votes across the party's political spectrum. What would happen if a certain dependable block of voters ignored presidential candidates during crucial primaries. What would happen? We already see what was happening. Now, this book was written by Norman Kelly in 2004. 2004, 16 years ago. And he was asking then what would happen. We see what is happening because there are so many of us that we are on code and we are ignoring these jokers. And anybody that comes out, we do videos like this and we educate the community and we bring facts and data and we give you research articles that you can look up and we pull these idiots' coats. And so they ignored us for a long time. They thought we were bots. They thought we were making noise. They thought we were just trolls. Until they realized that their party started dropping off like flies. Because we're not playing any games with people no more. You're just not going to get our votes just because. You're going to listen to us, goddammit. And you're going to start calling the right people to the freaking table. You're going to stop calling all these black freelancers that are only there for their own personal gains. You got to speak to us. It's not going down how it used to go down. We are a new people. We are a new generation. We are not our parents. And we are damn sure not our parents' parents. We are a new generation of people. And we are influential. Some of us got more clout than celebrities when it comes to the vote. We're influential. And they recognize that. But they refuse to talk to us because they don't want to give us a platform. Because they understand during a period of time in the 80s, the 70s, when they used to give us platforms to come on their shows to speak, we got into the minds of the people because the only thing we needed was a platform. But social media has been the best thing that has happened to us because we are able to get into the minds of the people, not to control them like the political freelancers, the black freelancers, the black politicians, the white liberals, not like them. We don't control them in that way. What we do is we elevate their thinking. What we do is we put critical information out there. And the only thing we ask is that you think and that you engage in meaningful discourse. You engage in meaningful discussion. You start reading. You start doing your research. You start paying attention to the data. You start pulling the numbers and you start asking critical questions. That's what we're requesting. We're not threatening anybody. We're not talking about burning down anybody's buildings or beating anybody up. What we're talking about is elevating our minds. And that's why we're a threat. That's why they're not going to speak to us. But until they speak to us, you won't win the political party. So y'all better get ready for Trump. Trump 2020. Y'all better get ready for him because we're not playing games. And even the people that look like us that are naysayers, you're going to see. You're going to see just how powerful we really are. You're missing the point. Get on board or get out the door. It's as simple as that. No more just getting black votes. No more shooting our babies and killing them. No more giving them vaccines that's killing them. No more killing our women on the maternity tables. No more starving our communities of healthy food. No more putting our black men in jail. No more shooting us down by police. No more choking us out for cigarettes. No more. No more. I end with saying this. As well as causing consternation among party elders, such as an activity would also delegitimize black political freelancers who essentially use black votes to profit themselves, yet are politically unaccountable. Also, black Democratic politicians who do not fully represent black voters will be put on notice. Pressure will be placed on them to wrangle the black vote back into the Democratic corral. It's getting dirty out there. Pressure is truly being put on them. You got roly-poly. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. You got Roland Martin. He tried me once on Twitter. And it left me the hell alone because I'm just not the one. You got Roland Martin, and I know you boomers love him, but he got pressure on him. You got Al Sharpton, he got pressure on him. We can go on and on and on. We can go on and on and on. But they got extreme pressures to get out there and constantly feed us garbage, push things down our throat because they know that they're losing the black vote. This was said back in 2004. We weren't even doing this in 2004 because had we been doing this in 2004, President Barack Obama would not have been president. Let's just be honest, people. Had we raised our consciousness back in 2004, we won't be where we're at today. Had we held people accountable back in 2004, we won't be experiencing what we're doing right now. Had we put our foot down in 2004, many of our brothers and sisters will be alive right now. He said this in 2004. So for the people who believe in prophecies, see, y'all think all the prophecies stopped at the Bible and the Quran. It didn't stop there. It's still happening. But we have been trained not to see it that way. Because we still waiting. We still waiting. Oh, I'm just going to pray. This ain't nothing to do with me. I'm just going to pray till the Lord comes home. I'm going to pray. Put it in God's hand. Yes, I am, Lord. I'm going to pray. It is in God's hand. It is in your hand. So you go sit back and keep giving away those votes. We're not playing. This was said in 2004. 16 years later, we are doing exactly what Norman Kelly said should be done. We have instabilized the electoral vote. We have harmed the political party. And until you listen to us, goddammit, you ain't getting no votes. It's as simple as that. Simple. So you go ahead and you vote for Bloomberg if you want to. I ain't voting for nobody who has proven to be a devil. I am not voting for anybody who has voted for policies that have harmed us. I am not voting for anybody who has been in a position that has harmed us. That's just me. I ain't telling you what to do. You can be mad all you want. The prophecy is here. It has been written. It's all I have for y'all. To all my black family, to my sisters and brothers who are voters, the only thing I ask you to ask your political candidates is, what have you done for me lately? Until Tuesday, I say good night. Thank you for listening. I apologize for going over, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took notes. I hope you shared the video. I hope you left a comment. I hope you liked it or disliked it. I can care less. The only thing I'm here is to deliver you a word. You can take it or you can leave it, but what you cannot do is dispute the facts. Have a good night, people. Love you all, and I will see you all on Tuesday.